Hey, welcome back to the LGL Power Rankings with the Big Goose and everybody's favorite New Jersey governor, Baconator.
Woohoo!
We're coming to you from, I'm coming to you from a closet in my uncle's house in Hillsboro, Oregon, because I had to go on vacation, but it doesn't mean I can't do my job, because I care about you that much. Um, Anyways, we've got week one power rankings. Keep in mind, week one power rankings are probably even less reliable than post draft power rankings. Um, they
There's
are,
certainly a lot of movement. Some
yeah,
surprising movement, which we'll get into soon. But
yeah, there was some big mobility, but that's going to happen with week one. There's really, it's, if you've heard of the concept of small sample size, this is the definition of small sample size. This is not evidence to how well any team's going to do. The 16th placer could still win the entire league at this point, and it wouldn't be surprising. It's
mhm.
just a way to. It's really kind of meaningless, but it does help you know how everybody did, what's going on. So I think we're gonna jump right into it with number 16, Chronoculars. My opponent
I
this
don't,
week.
I don't know if that got picked up, but my mic just completely fell over.
I didn't hear anything on my end, so I should be fine.
Ah, too bad for the viewers then.
Well, if they hear anything, fuck them. Oh, did we get updated pictures of the teams?
Huh? Well,
Because since there was drops from Grace Period.
you know what? We'll do that for next week. You
Yeah,
guys know
well,
what you have.
yeah,
You,
these
you can
are
you can
outdated
check the
teams.
doc.
Yeah, yeah. Chronoculars is up against me this week. Um, kind had the 1-5-0, the only 5 or 6 loss. Um, and there was a lot of the matches this week weren't super close. There was a lot of sweeps, a lot of 5-0s, 4-0s, and some 3-0s. What'd you think of this match?
I thought you just really just outplayed him the whole way. I know you just played around that Voltorb all match. And
Yeah,
Voltorb didn't end up doing a whole lot.
yeah,
What was his
it's
one kill with? Was it Mudbray?
one kill. I want to say I can actually
Oh yeah,
check
wait.
real
We
quick.
have the technology. It was Man-type.
Oh yeah, Mantike. Oh God, what did it kill? It was a weird kill. I think it finished off my Joltik, was it?
That
Yeah,
does
I'm pretty
sound
sure.
weird.
Yeah, it finished off my Joltik. Because I didn't really need it at that point. Uh, Other than that, it was just my play was clean. It was a interesting match because I had it that my powerhouses weren't really the kill makers, but we'll talk about it in the next in when it gets to me at least, which is going to be a while from now. But uh, yeah, it was just kind of some weak plays. I thought the team looked about right for what I would bring. I think Mantike was generally a pretty good call. I think you pretty much always want to bring your electric versus me, uh, if you have one. I'm not sure. It was a little bit of a rough match, so hopefully he picks it up next week.
Mhm.
Tied for 14th place with one other player is Prettyish of the Chennai Chimchars. This was a
Oh, and
tragic match.
I just want to say that when I ordered it, the ties, like, Pradiush isn't worse than the other person tied for 14. We're just calling them the same right now. Maybe
Yeah,
ties will be ordered later, but there won't be as many ties later.
yeah. So, yeah, normally I would go into the teams and how well the gameplay went for a tie, but I was running a little bit slow and it actually Bacon threw together the whole slides and I think you did in the last like what 10 minutes or
Yeah, like
30
10,
minutes.
10 to 15. I was watching some Cutthroat Kitchen and putting them together.
Yeah, so I think next week we'll go to ordering ties on,
All right.
but there was so many ties this week. There's one big tie
Mm-hmm.
coming up.
Yeah.
Prettyish, he played he played well. He played just as well as he could, and RNG was really brutal that entire match.
Mm. It really was. He was getting the short
There
end of
was,
the stick several times.
I want to say there was like a freeze and a 10% burn or something on top
Yeah,
of
that
something
sounds right.
else. It was just ruthless. This is one of the ones I unfortunately didn't find the time to rewatch beforehand. But from what I remember, it was just a ruthless RNG kind of eating him alive. His team again is kind of susceptible. That's one of the issues with building a team that's so front
Hyper
heavy, so
offensive.
hyper offensive. Yeah, you're a lot weaker to one bad roll, one bad crit, because it's a lot more likely to kill you when you're a lot frailer.
Uh,
Um,
Oh, yep, that's right. His
Alongside him.
Dratini getting frozen was a big
Oh
problem.
yeah, that was it. Um, Alongside him, and he also had a tough matchup. Let's say he was up against
Mhm.
NotShadyKid, one of the better players in the Pearl group.
Yeah, definitely.
Alongside him at 14th was Weibo, who has changed his team quite a bit. He actually followed our advice, cut most of the Sun Core. Um, I think he still has the Sun Kern and some things, but his team looks a lot better now. Um, and I actually, oh yeah, I just watched this fight. I remember this fight very well now. Um, this is you have to bring a Swirlix check. Uh,
We'll,
and we'll
we'll
talk about it a
definitely
little
get
bit more
more into
later.
that later.
Yeah, so I'll just leave it at that. You have to bring a Swirlix check. This fight was very one-sided because of that fact, and yeah, we'll get into it later. We
The
should have like
Anorith
replay
definitely.
clips. It's
Yeah, I'll have to
we should
figure that out.
um tied for 11th. This is a three-way tie, I believe.
Yep,
Is
11th and 4th is a three-way tie.
Yep. We've got Epsilon, who's at 0-1 -3. Epsilon took a loss to the CEO of Cheese World this week in a pretty interesting fight. It was kind of riddled with little misplays, like
Yeah, definitely not Epsilon's cleanest day. I mean, he tried to attack some type immunities a couple of times, once with a sleep powder on a grass type, and then
hmm
once with a quick attack on a ghost type. And it's just those kind of things you gotta watch out for.
yeah, honestly, you know, it's very important to know resistances and immunities when you're in a draft league.
Hmm.
So maybe what the hell is a resistance was uh
Too
a
real.
little bit on the nose here.
But
Otherwise, I
no,
thought the team looked good. He actually didn't he just took his top six Pokemon and plugged them into a team. I
that
think.
is 100% true. I wish Arjun had came. I think it could have helped him, especially
Yeah,
since CEO has a lot of grass types, and he kind of ended up losing in the end to Cacnea.
yeah.
So
Archon could have acrobatics its way to some very valuable attacks.
yeah, Acro,
Acrobatics is a
Dual,
strong
Wing
word.
Beat, either
Yep.
one. But
Tied up there with him is actually a pretty high seed from early on. I think he was third,
he
right?
was, yeah, third sounds right.
Uh, well, I should have mentioned this earlier. Pradius was a pretty high seed as well. He was in
Hmm.
fourth.
Yeah,
Weibo was in 10th with mobility. And now we've got Thief, who was in third, falls down to the 11th tie. Again, doesn't mean a whole lot. That thing kind of happens when you're.
yeah. I mean, I started off season 2 with a 4-0 loss, and then ended up going 10-2 in the final 12 games, and
Yeah.
won the regular season and made it to finals. So you never
And
know what's gonna happen.
for those of you who are new, yes, he did say 10-2 in the final games. We did have a 13 game season, and yes, it was insane.
Oh, hey, I took that 7-game win streak to end the season at least.
Thief was up against Hydreigon, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more later. He
No, no, no.
let
He
the
was he was
Wubat
up
Soda.
against. I think he was up against. He was up
Oh, do I have
against
the wrong person?
Jawente. Yeah, Hydreigon faced Jamal, which I think we'll be going
Oh,
over
yes.
next.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Hydreigon, if I remember his match against Hydreigon, it was Carvana got in really easily. His Mienfu seemed really weirdly frail. It took way too much from a Carvana crunch.
Yeah,
Um,
it took. Didn't you say like 40 something? And that
it
doesn't
was
seem right.
57%
What?
from a
Let me.
resisted Carvana crunch.
All right.
That shouldn't have been right. And I don't even think it was a choiced up Carvana, it was a life orb.
Yeah, it was a
Um,
life orb, which is pretty common.
yeah, and I actually helped Jaunt with his team. I thought it was a well constructed team for the matchup. And Thief,
Yeah.
I just
All right, I just
that strikes
calced.
me.
Yeah, Thief's Mienfu could not. It had to not be a Violite because
Yeah,
Crunch against the Reckless Choice Scarf set, which Thief was not running, I don't believe,
no, he was
because
running
he was running.
Regenerator.
Yeah, he was running Regenerator, but not a Violite, which is odd. But he might have needed to free up in a Violite.
Yeah,
But I
I
mean, it's
understand not
Mienfoo.
running a Violate. If
Yeah,
you have no
Crunch.
Violate on that, I feel like it should. If you have any defense
Yeah,
investment, you should take a crunch.
with like with uh 36 defense EVs, no HP EVs. 57% crunch is the highest roll. That's a 6% roll.
Uh, so he might have gotten high rolls there. Um,
Still,
but
you should
even
be a Violite with
you
Regenerator.
should yeah, you should either be a Violite or heavily bulk invested.
Hmm.
That's important. And I don't. His Shellos had an Eviolite. It ended up getting paralyzed and got some unlucky paralyses while waiting for a Bulbasaur to wake up.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely
he might have
unfortunate for him.
had his Eviolites tied up in Fungus and Shellos,
Yeah,
which honestly, at that point, I would rather have an Eviolite on my Mienfu and put Fungus, who also has Regenerator, give it like it's bulky enough. You could probably give it like a berry juice or something other than a Violite. It would do just
yeah.
fine.
Or you could just run Reckless Mienfoo with the Choice Scarf, high jump kick,
Yeah, that
and
too.
just be ready for when Carvana tries to protect on you.
Yep. I do. I probably would have come into this with an Eviolite Regenerator close combat Mienfu. I would have.
Mm.
I like Regenerator CC here because it you don't have to protect around the protect as much. It's nice, but not having the bulk to actually face off against a Carvana, I bet Psychic Fangs would have just killed.
I'm pretty sure it did. Yeah, it has to because of the calc.
Yeah, and with an Violet, I'm pretty sure you survive Psychic Fangs and kill back with CC.
I think
Uh,
you would just barely live, yes.
also, Hoot Hoot felt really weird here.
And not only
Uh,
is it weird, that's his current kill leader, which, I mean, that's just super cursed. Hoot
yeah,
Hoot. A
Hoot
tier
Hoot.
6 leading him in kills.
But I mean, and Dragon Dance Charmander isn't the greatest set in my mind.
Mm, yeah, you could just scarf it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that felt kind of weird here on the prep side. But we've got to move on at this point to our
Yeah.
other tier 11. I mean, tier 11. Goddamn. 11th place. Jamal, and this was the one who ended up getting swept by a Wubat.
Yeah, again, we'll go over this a bit more later. Don't let Wubat set up on you. If you can't
Yeah,
outspeed it, you can't kill it. Because that thing is going to slaughter you, and it can Giga Drain to restore its health. And it hits 17 speed. It ain't slow. It's
no.
in the very good speed tier. So
I
you
feel
you
like
gotta be careful.
I remember the early game of that match being kind of wonky here too. Uh,
It was at first I remember in the early game I thought Jamal was gonna win handily. But then when he let Wubat set up, it
yeah.
was over. He couldn't do
How much?
anything.
It was one of the weird things was actually Hydreigon brought Nasty Plot, if I remember correctly.
He did. Yeah, he didn't even go for Calm Mind.
That seems unnecessarily risky, but
It
it
is.
worked out.
Yeah, it worked in the end.
Next up, we've got. I think this is our largest drop. Maybe Thief had a larger drop. No, Thief didn't. 3 to
No,
11 is less
Pratty
than 1 to 10.
Pratty did. Pratty did
Oh,
because of
4 to
four,
14.
14. Yeah,
Yeah,
but still
that's
a big drop nonetheless. but it's
Yeah,
because of a loss. So
Geyser drops from first place to 10th in a in a 0-1 loss to Gandhi here.
that quite
Um,
honestly should have been 0-2
yeah,
because
Gandhi final gambited when he had a choice scarf Houndor to kill the Vulpix. Anyway,
yeah,
um,
to kill the Gossip Floor. That was
oh, the
just
Gossifleur, yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was just
Um,
waiting to eat a flamethrower, but he went for Final Gambit. I almost respect it, but you can't
yeah,
be losing differential.
I think Pradyish played the same move like last season.
I
Um,
played the same move against I think against Thief last season.
oh yeah, that was you. Oh God.
hmm
Uh,
Yeah, Final Gambit, Farfetch'd Galar.
yeah, it's
And it
just
was a dumb mistake. I
yeah,
regret doing it.
it's bad. You don't want to waste differential. But this isn't about
Mhm.
Gandhi. Uh, his team here was it lacked it did lack any sort of defensive backbone. Um, other than Dewpider, which ended up breaking pretty quickly. Uh,
Yeah, perhaps a Stuffle could have been good.
yeah, I would have liked to see a Stuffle. That would have given you some decent switch-ins here and there. Um,
It's
if I
gonna
remember,
be it's
Abra
gonna
got fucked up by something. What was it?
I think it ate a rock blast. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
99% sure it energy balled into a sturdy Onyx.
Oh yes, Onyx did a lot of work taking out that Abra handily.
Mhm.
Um,
This
Meowth
team's
got
really
sacked
just
off at one point. That felt kind of
yeah, I
weird.
think it shouldn't have been sacked. I think it was swapped into something that
Mm-hmm.
it just shouldn't have been swapped in for because you don't want Meowth to switch in.
No,
It's just
Meowth is a great revenge killer.
fake out feint, but it wasn't running feint if I remember correctly. Or no, it might have been. But
Yeah, I don't think we ever saw it though, if it was running it.
yeah,
Um,
I know it had fake out and water pulse to 1v1 Onyx.
mm. And yeah, and that's a good strat until it gets sacked off, and then it can't 1v1 Onyx because
hmm
Onyx instead gets to kill your Abra. Um,
Yeah,
Vulpix blizzarding on a Shelmet really wasted a lot of hail turns.
yeah, it
And
probably should have swapped out.
yeah, Shelmet got to set up a T-Spikes there that was pretty crucial. Shelmet
hmm
just being bulky was really important to staving off a lot of the aggression here.
Yeah, Shelmet really just messed up his whole team.
I thought Shelmet was a great bring, and honestly, what you needed was like Salandit to burn it alive. Um,
I'm pretty sure did Solandit go? Or did Solandit come
no,
that
it
match?
was Abra, Dewpider, Sandshrew
Meowth
A, Gossifleur, Vulpix, and Meow. Um,
and Abra.
yeah, I said Abra.
Huh.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
Gossifleur
Solandit
didn't
might have
come in
been a good
until late.
choice.
I think
Yeah, and that
Gossifleur didn't. Gossifleur picked up a kill at one point.
yeah,
Um,
it killed the Onyx with the Giga
yeah,
Drain.
that was kind of funny. Uh, all in all, the team kind of broke to the defensive backbone of Moraine plus Shelmet, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of that's really credit to Gandhi, which we'll talk about it later. I thought he played it really strong, and we'll talk. Yeah,
Yeah.
other than the
And
mistake we mentioned earlier. This
with
one's gonna be
Geyser,
quick.
this is just the growing pains of a newer coach, you know?
Oh yeah,
I'm
these
sure
next two are
he'll
gonna be quick.
rebound. Yep.
We've got Kraus who lost on a 0-1, who lost on a 0-0 because he didn't play and he didn't make a significant outreach attempt, so he takes the
Yep.
loss.
And Ape.
Orkopf, who gets a 0-0 win because he made a significant outreach attempt. All right,
Woohoo. All right,
cool.
on to the people who played.
Gandhi, we get to talk right about him. I thought Gandhi's team building was really sharp here.
hmm
There was two things I had an issue with. Two things I had an issue with his play and team building and all together. Two issues all around. Maybe three. I'll say three. First of all, there was the final Gambit incident where he sacked off his Riolu for no good reason and lost a point of differential. That's wasteful. Don't do that.
Yeah. If it costs him something in the future, like perhaps a playoff spot, if things go wrong, or
Or a
or
buy
a bot,
spot.
yeah,
Yeah.
You don't want that. You don't want to miss out on a buy because you decided to final gambit.
He also let his Ponyta go down really early. I think Ponyta could have done a lot more in that game all around. It ended
Yeah,
up
just
just
because of its
dying.
speed.
Wild charging into the Dupiter wasn't super helpful. Um,
Mhm.
and you named your Houndour Choice Scarf. Why?
It's bold.
Conceal information, people.
Hey, you know what? I was gonna. Well, we don't play, but if I do end up playing you, I might just name something Choice Scarf, and then bam, it's not Choice Scarf.
Okay, that's true. If it didn't have a choice scarf, that would be a big brain play. Um, but like,
But though naming
why?
it Choice Scarf is like the best anti-meta play to the play I just discussed. It's like it's almost a mind game. Like, do you actually believe that they're Choice Scarf?
It's literal game theory.
Hmm. It's
um,
perfect.
so unless you're trying to play mind games, if it's just one step there, well, no, the real big brain thing is to name every single Pokemon on your team choice scarf, and they'll never know.
And then you won't know what to think.
Yeah. Other than that, we talked about most of his match. It was pretty clean. I really liked how he played it, other than the Riolu and setting up the defensive backbone. He doesn't have a whole lot of defensive backbone on this team in general, but he picked out the two
I'd
that
I,
really worked
I'd
here.
have to, I'd have to argue against that. I think Spritzy, Onyx, Marini are a great defensive core.
Yeah, and that's
And
true.
even
Yeah,
Gary and Ponyta, because Gary and Ponyta, it's Ponyta. It got enough bulk.
yeah.
Defensive
Honestly,
Ponyta.
I really like how he set up here. It was a good team building. Um,
Yeah, perhaps we ranked his team a bit too low. Well, his hazard removal is still
yeah, it's still
nothing.
literally
It's
nothing,
Noibat.
right? Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
Noibat.
Noibat.
No.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got tied for fourth on the next three is Jaw and Unicorn, um, whose team I actually helped build. I thought it looked really good. This is his old team. He actually made it a ton of trades
A
and
surprising
drops
amount. Hmm.
after the match, not
Yeah.
even after playoffs. His team building was sharp. I was there for it. I helped him do it, so I can say pretty keenly his team building was sharp. He had Bagon and Carvana that were pervaded most of his offense, and then Diglett for answering threats, as well as Bulbasaur, and then some defensive backbone with I
Esper and
think
Pineco.
yeah, Esper and Pineco.
Yeah, and
Um,
Pineco got a kill. I'm so proud of Pineco.
yeah, Pineco picked up a rapid spin kill. Very handsome, very good. I don't know why I said very handsome, but
Hey, I bet Pineco would look pretty dapper. Give it a little suit and a tie.
indeed it would. I don't think the Bulbasaur ever saw play. Carvana did really well, and then he dropped it after the match. Um,
Bulbasaur saw play because it got put to sleep, and then it
oh
sat in front of the
yeah.
Shellos, and the Shellos kept getting parried.
Um, I just find it funny that Carvana getting dropped is like you shoot the most points after the game, and then they're like, "Great job, now you're fired."
Yeah, you just
Like
get
what the
cut
fuck?
from the team.
That's just rude. Otherwise, we've mostly talked about this match. It was really clean gameplay and team building, and yeah, I thought Thief was just a bit sloppy, and he took advantage.
Mhm.
Next up, we have one of our highest risers, a 12-4, which is pretty solid. CEO
Yep.
Cheese World. And he actually is sporting a new logo, Dedenne with the denim. This is a
Yep, we got
really good logo.
indeed. We have logos for everybody now, including Weibo and Pradiush, who both didn't
Yep.
have logos before. And I can say I helped make Weibo's logo as it is
There.
me and my Vullaby
We'll shoot back
right
to it.
next yeah, right
It's
next to his Farfetch.
it's quite a logo. Chennai
That
Chimchar's really cute logo there too.
hmm pretty good.
CEO just I mean his team.
He
I
was
I
able to
also helped him build his team. It was interesting.
yeah. I mean, he definitely took advantage when he could on Epsilon's subpar plays,
Yep.
and his team was definitely well prepared to beat Epsilon.
Yeah.
He played his pawn yard quite well. He really knew when to sucker punch, and
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a surprisingly strong showing. It's exciting. Maybe he'll go a bit further than we gave him credit for.
I don't think I don't even think he's made any team changes from this. I think oh no, he made one trade. I think he traded off his Remoraid for a Sinistea, which he actually brought this week.
Indeed,
Um,
and Sinistea did fairly well, I believe.
didn't it pick up a
Yeah,
kill?
yeah, it killed a Doduo
Mm-hmm.
and tanked
Uh,
a Brave Bird.
Doduo ended up revenge killing an Ammonite in that match, which was kind of funny. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it was a clean game. There's not a whole lot to say. Good playing and taking advantage of people that kind of fuck up sometimes. Next up,
So,
we have another pretty high riser, High Dragon,
the
going
highest,
from 13 to 4,
the highest
uh,
riser we got.
with a +3 win, and this is because of Wubat, almost
Hmm.
entirely.
Well, I
Uh,
will say his Skiddo was just tanking every attack and milk drinking the damage away.
oh yeah,
It
that
was,
Skiddo set was kind of nasty. Um,
I was quite impressed by it.
wasn't it? It was Bulk Up, Horn Leech, Milk Drink, and
Maybe toxic?
yeah, something like that.
That
Uh,
sounds close.
I would have loved just to see an extra attacking move on it, but it was nasty. And then there was just Wubat that was allowed to completely freely set up a nasty plot. Wubat is a must prep. You must prep for Wubat. Always.
You gotta
I'll,
have either a Pokemon that can outspeed it, or it can tank its attacks, or that can
or
at least hold a focus sash.
or maybe or even like or at least priority or something.
Oh, that
Um
too.
Mischievous also I found very funny was named should be banned and picked up 0 kills in this match and just died. Um
I think it will-o-wisped something and then died. But it might have done even less. I don't know.
Woo! Doing what a Dreepy could do. I think Dreepy gets Will Wisp, right?
I think he gets Thunder Wave at best,
Uh,
or
well,
Dreepy.
it was a strong showing of Wubat and a really interesting Skiddo set. Um, not a whole lot
Yeah,
much more to say there.
just solid play. Definitely gonna
Yeah.
have to keep an eye on you.
Um, we've got NotShadyKid here, tied for 2. Tied for second place. I shouldn't just say tied for 2. That's kind of dumb. Um, and coming in at a solid second place as well in the Pearl group. This was his win over Pradiesh, took advantage of some good RNG, and his team looked solid. I don't remember a whole lot about this fight. It was the first of the week, I believe. Uh, actually, it might have been second.
It was
Uh,
definitely pretty early.
yeah, it was very early in the week, and it was just a strong team. He's made some changes since this photo. Um,
Hmm.
just a strong showing. Took always good to take advantage of RNG, and
Yeah,
yeah.
you take what you can get, really.
hmm And then we've got Baconator, my co-host,
Yep.
at second.
Uh,
Rising a little bit from fifth.
yep, with the good 4-0 win, though it was definitely sloppy in the beginning. I led Vullaby, which was awful, because I mean,
Yeah,
he was just going to lead Anorith, but I didn't have a great answer for it. So I
Anorith did a lot
basically,
there.
yeah, he put a lot of work in it, but it took my coughing away pretty much, and then
hmm
effectively killed my Hone Edge because it just dropped me down to like 15. So
Without a rock
Electrite could
blast
revenge
miss,
kill.
without a rock
Yeah,
blast miss, it would have still had its berry juice and might have been able to switch out and do something there. But I doubt he was
yeah,
switching it out.
definitely. No,
Um,
Weibo, I know him quite well, and he says he doesn't like switching out. He stays in there. No, which I respect. But
I don't
sometimes you do
respect
have to
it, but
switch out. You know, he'll switch out
I'm an,
sometimes, I think, but
I'm a
not
bit of an
always.
aggressive switcher. Um,
But once Yeah, once Swirlix sets up a belly drum, I think it hits 60 attack, and it hits like 20 something speed.
It has a guaranteed one-hit KO on Qfant, which
Yeah,
resists.
yeah. With Play Rough, it does minimum 105 or 109 to your average Kufant.
What was its moveset?
It was belly drum, Play Rough, return, sticky web, because there literally
Oof.
wasn't a better move I could put there than sticky web.
Well, with Play Rough Return, there are some things it is very much vulnerable to. Like, a Pharaohseed eats up a Swirlix. If it,
Oh
and
yeah,
yeah,
for all of you out there that have Pharaoh Seed, which is one person.
that's true. But there's definitely defensive checks, priority, choice scarfers that can actually outspeed it if it's not fully speed
Very,
invested.
f- yeah, but it'd be very few. And
Um,
believe me,
what it
if you've got Nellikid, I'm prepping for you. I ain't
if
letting
it
that
I
Nellikid's
honestly
choice
a choice
scarf.
scarf Ponyta would not be a bad bring against a
No, it
Swirlix
would
team.
not be. It wouldn't.
Um,
But
but we're not in the same group, so I can't take down that note.
yeah, I think both Ponytas are in your division in the Pro division, and Galarian
Yeah, they are.
Ponyta wouldn't even be that good because I could just play rough it.
Um,
But
it was a pretty clean fight that it showed. Well, it was a sloppy fight that turned into a very clean fight when
mhm.
Swirlix just patted on its
it
belly.
was it was difficult at first, but I knew if Swirlix got a belly drum, it was over.
If at
And
first you can't succeed, have Swirlix pat on its belly.
yep, and
And then
Vullaby never
finally,
had to do anything, and that's
oh
great.
yeah,
If Vullaby does nothing, how are you going to lose?
that's true. And then finally, I actually am the number one person this week. Woo woo! Go me!
Woohoo!
Yay! Da 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 da. um,
You get you get your name in the gold text. How special!
I am such a Coolan. Um, I actually made 0 drops. Um, I brought my team. I prepped my team, and I think I just outplayed.
Yeah,
Fampy did way more work than it had any right doing.
yeah,
Fampy's my kill leader right now, which I did not
yeah.
expect. Followed by, oh god, what's in second?
Ponytail,
Ponyta,
yeah, and then Grimer
and then
with
Grimer
the
picked up
one.
a kill. Uh, it was just a solid fight, and it showed off my team pretty well. I didn't bring Snubble or Tentacool, so it was nice to parade around some of my lower tier mons.
Mhm.
And my only loss was losing Joltik to a Mantike.
It's it's just crazy.
What is this opposite world where a Mantike kills a Joltik? This is wrong.
Ugh.
Um, alright, let's look at stats and facts. Favorite match, go.
All right, mine was Hydreigon versus Jamal. We kind of made these teaching moments, and like
Yeah.
it has to be reiterated. Do not let Wubat set up, and if you do, you better have an answer. And
Mm-hmm.
and don't think just chipping it down will work if you don't have priority. No, because that thing can Giga Drain, and then what are you gonna do? It's at full
Yeah,
health again.
yeah. You can't let it go, and that's why my favorite was also Baconator versus Weibo, because it's a lesson. Prep. Prep is really, 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 really important. Um, if you don't have checks for their big sweepers, you're gonna lose because they're gonna sweep you. That's why they're called big sweepers. It's that simple.
It really is that simple.
Um, So the closest match ended up being Geyser versus Gandhi. Not even without Gandhi sacking off his Riolu for no reason. Although technically, the closest match that by differential was Kraus versus
Oh,
Borkov
yeah, but that
because they
one
didn't fight.
doesn't exist. Yeah. And
It's
then
a
we
very
have our
interesting
little
replay.
indeed. Only you could find it.
Fun
But
facts.
Swirlix currently leading the league with 5 kills. Thank
Not
you,
bad, not
Buttercream.
bad.
And then we
Eh,
got Joente Unicorn, the only player to not have their kill leader on their team. That's still shocking to me.
it's so rude. He dropped it for he dropped it for a turtle.
I mean,
And like, come
Squirtle's
on.
kind of good.
Squirtle's good. He also got a different tier 2. We'll get new images eventually, I swear. I think he actually, if you look on the page, he dropped it for a. Oh my god, I have 7 Discord notifications. Go away, you assholes. He dropped it for a Axew,
Hmm,
which honestly kind of valid. He also dropped the Bagon to be clear, so he kind of switched in his Bagon for an Axew, which is a better Dragon Dancer, and then
yep.
his Carvana for a Squirtle, which is a different water type that's probably good enough to justify dropping your Carvana for essentially a better Dragon type.
Yeah, I think it makes his defense a bit better while not
Yeah,
really sacrificing too much offense at all.
it's
'Cause
honestly a bit of a better pure sweeper. It's a little bit worse at killing like 2 Pokemon, but it's better at taking out a whole team.
yep.
He also picked up a Clobopus and dropped something.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's another low tier.
and you did that all outside of grace periods, to be clear.
Yeah, so
So
he is now down to 2 transactions remaining.
yeah, and he's actually the only person who has made a transaction since grace period has ended. Um, which like there's some people I really think should make some transactions. Yeah, CEO. Um,
Hey,
but all in all, even though he won, I still think he should make some transactions. I don't like that
one
team.
and 1-0, got to keep the team together for now.
Yeah, once I lose, I'll make my 5 drops. Well,
Mm,
thanks for coming. That's it.
yep,
Go away. We
and get
got
out of here.
yeah, go away.